A recent report showed that Newport News has the 5th highest eviction rate in the country at 10.23%. Evictions can lead to a lot of other problems related to things like job dislocation, broken families, school disruption, that ultimately ripple through communities. What are your thoughts on this? Is there a better way that we can handle this issue in Newport News than we're handling it right now?
I think the first thing I would want to do more investigative work as to what that actually means and find out why they're getting, or people that have been evicted, why was that the case, study the environment that they're in. I don't think there's a simple answer to that without doing further analysis on it.
Okay. Ms. Reason?
Oftentimes, poverty is a generational mindset. So the question is, how do we reset that mindset? Well, we reset the mindset a couple of ways. We reset the mindset by generating new opportunities, and we reset the mindset by offering education opportunities. And this is something that I already do. I educate individuals on resume writing, how to apply for jobs, how to budget your personal finances, and pay your bills on time. Those are key things that we can do to help the eviction rate of the cities. It's an education process. Sometimes people don't know things that some of us may deem basic. It's not basic for everybody. Somebody had to teach me. And that's why I'm able to sit here today and share what I've learned with others.
Great, thank you. Mr. Roth?
Yeah, I'd want to find out what the root cause is, and of course we'd want to study that issue and find out what's causing this to be the 5th highest eviction rate in the nation. Of course, that's really unacceptable. So I want to kind of dig into it and find out what the cause is.
Okay, Mr. Reed.
You know, for someone to be evicted from their home and for their apartment, wherever they're being evicted from, there has to be some base cause that has caused them to do that, whether it's loss of job, whether it's an issue of crime, whether it's an issue of something's coming up. And we need to look at kind of what caused that. And one of the things I feel like there's a lack of education in a lot of people even understanding how to take care of themselves basically after they leave high school. And one of the things I'd like to see pushed through at a school board level, because you can do this at a local area level, is really push the school systems to have more kind of really education on actually teaching young people how to actually kind of budget themselves, to plan themselves out, to how to write a check, how to write things. And these are things that are not always taught in the school systems that we have, and the school system as it's set up right now. And this is kind of an education process. And as far as after that, you need to provide more continuing education programs for people to become better educated and better aware of kind of what's going on and how to help out the city. And then as a council member, you need to kind of really kind of be open to kind of listening to all the citizens and really kind of welcome them into the conversation and welcome and wonder, you know, what is the eviction process? How is this happening, and what can we do to kind of alleviate that stress on the citizens?
Great, thank you. Mr. Jenkins?
I'd like to know more about the specifics of what's causing us to have that high an eviction rate here in Newport News. And I'll tell you, one of the problems we have is poverty in our city. 16% of the people in Newport News live at or below the poverty rate. 60% of the school children attending our public schools need public assistance for meals. That's terrible. We live in a great city. That's one of the reasons I want to have economic growth and development here, because I know that we can make this city prosper. Again, that's going to be one of the things that drives housing. It's going to be one of those things that is going to improve our neighborhoods in so many ways. When people have jobs, they stay in the community. When people have jobs, they invest in the community, they shop in the community, and everything just gets better when people can make a decent living. And we've seen so much of a decline in the middle class over recent years. Right now, a lot of people are working at wages that simply don't allow them to have the savings that generations in the past used to have. It's not a question of values. It's not a question of immediate gratification. It's a question of just not having enough money to have any sort of standard of living and get by and have money in the bank. And I think that's a tragedy.
Great, thank you. Ms. Penny?
I think we need to educate our young people a little bit better on how to manage their money. We need to have more job fairs that maybe we could find them jobs that could make them more money than what they're making at minimum wage. There are a lot of opportunities out there. And also, we need to figure out what the problem is. Is it drugs? Is it negligence on their part as far as taking care of the property? Is it slumlords that they're renting from? Or is it they're increasing their rent so high that they can't afford to stay there anymore, and they end up, pushing them out and evicted them?
Great, Ms. Wallace.
I feel like more research needs to be done to find out what's causing the high eviction rate in our city. We need to find out, is it an issue dealing with mental health issues, where we don't have enough facilities to house our mental health patients, and they're living on their own and cannot budget and take care of their home life? Or is it a situation where it's more renters than homeowners? Because with home ownership, you're paying a mortgage, you get a little bit more leeway than when you're renting and you have a 30-day eviction. So are we educating about home ownership? I also work in Richmond at the General Assembly to push for a raise in our minimum wage to make it a livable wage. So also work with our legislators, our state legislators, to see if we can increase our minimum wage from $7.25. You're wondering why, people can't pay their rent. We need to make sure that we have a livable wage, especially for our single mothers and our single parents. But research definitely needs to be done so we can find out what is causing the evictions. And once we get that answer, we can come up with an effective solution together.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Cherry.
Thank you. The question is asking about reducing our high eviction rates, and it's surprising to hear what our numbers are for Newport News. And I think it's really important, as others have said, that we have to find out what the underlying cause is, because it's a cause and effect. What's causing it and what's affecting it. And I know that there's a campaign to reduce eviction going on right now. And so I think we have to look at urban renewal and affordable housing. But if people can't have jobs, or if they're not employed, then it's going to be very difficult for them to stay, whether they're renting or whether or not they own their property. And I just need to applaud our Newport News Public Schools, because all of our students have to take a financial literacy class before they even graduate, and so that they're better prepared when they get out as how to budget and what to do as far as finances before they even get out of high school now. So I think we've started there, but we still have to look at, now that people are out, what's the cause and effect of them being evicted, and I think that's something that we need to continue to look at.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Scott?
I believe the eviction rates are circumstances oriented. That could be loss of job, employment. It could be poor money management. It could be discord between, if it's a renter and a landlord. It could be discord between them that is creating the problem. And some of it is financially based. Some people, I think, they make poor choices when they, especially the ones who are being evicted from homes that they purchase. Sometimes they buy more than they can afford, and then they find themselves in a situation where they can't continue to meet the mortgage. I think that the type of educational choices that the school system is starting to offer is actually going to help bridge the gap in employment, and workforce development is going to be really one of the solutions. But also we have organizations like LINK, who actually bridge the gap for people who are evicted from their homes, to help them find something until they can transition back to whatever their home lifestyle was before. But I think in the end, and I do have an interview with the realtors tomorrow, I think our realtors can play a major role in the eviction rate situation, because they can be an advisory board to kind of be a go-in-between the tenants who are renting and the landlords, because sometimes that's where the problem rises between them when they get behind and not being able to work out workable solutions, which is causing homelessness in our city.
Great, thank you. We started just a few minutes late. We've got